Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. Mm-hmm. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
This is some back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome in to a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Thursday, just like we always are, driven and powered by our friends over at Go Chevrolet. Remember, online, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. You can also find brand new cars over in LaPlace, Louisiana, or a used car lot here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales on the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. Looking forward to today's show as we are going to talk to the legend, Secretariat of the football world, Archie Manning. We will talk to him at 8 o'clock this morning as we will get a little preview of Ole Miss and LSU, but more we will dive into the memory bank and get some stories told by one of the best, Archie Manning. Also here on Saints game day, Saints with a quick turnaround tonight playing the Arizona Cardinals. Tough spot again for the Saints as far as the injury report goes. They'll be without Jarvis Landry. They'll be without Mike Thomas. They'll be without Adam Troutman. They'll be without a couple of others as they head into tonight's action for a Thursday night game. All of the Thursday night's games have been bad. It's probably a little wishful thinking to think that this would be anything different. I mean, they've all been just
bad. Dog water.
Really, really bad football. And
take the under.
To be expected, yes.
But while you say bad, I say close. You will get a competitive game, you would hope at least. So maybe don't turn on the first quarter, maybe not the second quarter, maybe not the third quarter, but maybe tune in the fourth quarter when it's 16-14 and they're fighting for their lives out there. And you're like, all right, at least I got a close ball game to watch.
Take the under, as Stewie said. I agree. We will also talk to our friend from The Advocate as Zach Ewing will be here at 8:30 this morning. He'll be giving us some of the picks for the weekend and some of the choices to look out for as far as the betting lines go this weekend. We mentioned this LSU game has been a wacky line as it started as the Tigers getting points. Now they are giving points. We will talk to Zach about that point spread coming up here at 8:30 this morning. But we have buried the lead. Last night, the NBA got back into action. The majority of the games got into action. A couple of nights ago, the Warriors had their ring ceremony as they got going again versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And they had another game. There was a Philly played Boston in the first game of the season. But last night, everybody got going, including the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Pelicans are a problem. I think the rest of the league was probably looking and wondering what New Orleans was going to look like with Zion back in the lineup, and Zion impressed, and so did the rest of the Pelicans. Zion last night went a intense 31 minutes last night in his return, 30 minutes. He was 11 of 22 from the field. He got to the free throw line 4 times, hit 3 of those. He had 9 rebounds. He had 4 steals. He had 3 assists, and he had 25 points. And that to go alongside Brandon Ingram's 28, to go alongside C.J. McCollum's 21, to go alongside Trey Murphy's 16, to go alongside Jose Valanciunas's 15, Herb Jones playing 28 minutes, doing what he does defensively. Pelicans are deep. I don't want to overreact here in October of the NBA season. I mean, there is a long, long way to go in an NBA year. You have got to stay healthy. You have got to be able to navigate road trips. There are things that have to happen for an NBA team to be successful. But as far as having all of the components to do that, if you watched New Orleans last night, you saw star power and you saw depth. You saw role players. You saw guys that are bought in. You see an NBA team that is young, energetic, athletic, and scary. Scary. I mean, they made Brooklyn look really old. I mean, Durant played 32 minutes. He had 32 points. Kyrie played 34 minutes. He had 15 points. All in all, I mean, outside of, Speedy Claxton looking, pretty good for them, the Pelicans dominated that game. It's opening night. It's a long off season. Zion hadn't played in a long time. He looked really good. He looked really healthy. He looked really bought in. I mean, poor Ben Simmons. Sheesh.
Oh, 23 points. 23 minutes, 4 points on 2 of 3 shooting.
Fouled out.
5 rebounds, 5 assists, though.
Drew the short straw of checking Zion in his first night back, and that is just, the way that he can get to the rim in the NBA is, he's Shaq with ball handling. I mean, when Shaq touched the ball 6 feet within the rim, he was unguardable. And Zion can get to 6 feet in the rim anywhere on the floor. I mean, when he makes his mind up and he's coming off screens now and he knows how to use his body and angles. I mean, there are times where you can see NBA players, you can see NBA coaches, you can see NBA benches just kind of like, what else can we do? I mean, there's nothing else that you can do to handle this guy. Man, I hope he stays healthy. Man, I hope they continue to develop and find a rhythm and get some consistency. Obviously, the NBA is a marathon. I mean, to be excited in October is cool vibes, but to have this, to be able to sustain it, through the marathon, through the entire race, is tough to do, right? But if you look at New Orleans, they've got what it takes to be good. I don't know if you saw Charles Barkley on TNT, who just inked a big extension and a big contract extension with Turner Broadcasting. He's got the Pelicans coming out of the West. I mean, they were like prodding him, like kind of poking at him on Wednesday night or on Tuesday night on opening night with Golden State, Philly, Boston, Golden State, and LA playing. They were like, Chuck, you want to bail? You want to get off of it? You still ride with the Pelicans? And he was firm. He was steady. I'm going with New Orleans. And while that is a bold pick, and that is, from where he sits, that's a risk reward. That's a big reward if it comes through. Not as big of a risk, it looks like here after opening night, because Pelicans are really, really good, man. They just have all of the components that it takes, in my opinion, to compete for 82 games and beyond in the NBA season. I mean, they're guys like Larry Nance Jr. and Jackson Hayes was in street clothes last night, but you bring those two guys off the bench with that type of athleticism and ability to get up and down the floor. It's just tough I watched a lot of highlights. I didn't watch games last night, but watched extended highlights of a lot of games last night. It's tough for people to match up with the athleticism that the Pelicans have, just first and foremost. They're so athletic. Herb Jones, he doesn't give you much offensively. He has 6 points last night.
I think he was like plus 32 on the
plus 34 on his plus minus. But he's still, you have to account for him. It's not necessarily where it's 4-on-5 when they're on offense, because he's so athletic that you got to put a body on him. He'll get scrap points, he'll chase down loose balls, he'll put back things. They're just a tough matchup. I don't want to overreact, because
Well, it's just it's not,
NBA season
yeah.
is a long time, but
I don't think
Pelicans look dangerous. I mean, like Golden State looks like they're going to repeat. You know, I mean, like Golden State, after watching a lot of basketball over the last 2 nights, the Golden State Warriors look like the best team in the league again. You know, Milwaukee obviously is going to be a player just because of who they have. You know, I think Giannis he's probably, you know, top 2, top 3 player in the world right now. Celtics are really good. But the Pelicans, they're just a different type of matchup. I mean, they can play different styles. They're very well coached, too.
Well, and I don't think it's an overreaction because it's just an extension of what happened last year. What you saw in the playoffs where they give the Phoenix Suns, like you almost go toe-to-toe with them whenever they end up in did they go to the NBA Finals or Western Conference Finals?
Yeah.
And then that's the kind of team that you have returning. And then you add, I mean, if anybody added a superstar over the break, I mean, that's Zion. Like, if you just signed him in free agency, you would be stoked. Instead, you have him already on the team, get him healthy. He returns in a big way. And it's just that the Pelicans added a piece to a team that was already good. And because of how, like, they implement Zion, I feel like the chemistry is right. Everybody knows their role. And Zion's such an easy guy to play basketball with where he doesn't demand the ball, not a diva, like not a superstar in terms of I have to get my touches. He just finds work. And they want to get him the ball, and he's good to pass it. But you have B.I. legit superstar. C.J. McCollum kind of running the entire thing and keeping it clean. And then you have, I mean, Zion Williamson's going to be the X factor, obviously. But having him to just be able to plug and play on a team that was already trending upward last year, that's what if it feels like an overreaction, I don't think it would be just because Zion's such a big piece to be able to get back.
I mean, guys like Trey Murphy coming off the bench, 24 minutes, 4 of 6 from behind the line. You know, I mean, just they can beat you with so many styles of play. And, I mean, to be versatile in the NBA is very dangerous. You know, I mean, for as much as Golden State can shoot themselves to world championships, and they have done so, they can also play rugged with you. You know, I mean, they can play different styles of games when they have to. And it's just very refreshing to see the Pelicans have this type of versatility at a very young part of this roster. Because, I mean, this roster is going to be together for a while. You know, I mean, that's the beautiful part about it. Zion signed. You know, C.J. McCollum inked the extension. You know, obviously Brandon Ingram is a high priority for them. And then all of the ancillary parts that they have put around, you know, those superstars, which I think is the best work that Griffin has done. You know, I mean, Griff, for somebody who was, you know, an outcast here at this point last year. I mean, think about it. Think about the feeling of David Griffin and the Pelicans a year ago when they did that weird press conference with Zion and David Griffin, and that, you know, I mean, it was strange. There was a weird feel to it. People were wondering, like, what's going on? You know, who's making the call on Zion not playing? It's just a weird dynamic. In one calendar year, 365 days, the temperature has totally changed on the New Orleans Pelicans. Not only is there, you know, like stability around Zion, he's inked, he's signed, he's in. I mean, he's also shown that he's got the attitude of, I want to be here. And the parts around them are very impressive. Very, very, very impressive, man. I mean, just being fun. I mean, and also a really fun team to watch. You know, I mean, I think of this for Jordan's sake. We had a flag football game last night, got home a little late, and the first thing he did when he got into the house was he wanted to turn the Pelicans game on, and we did. It was like midway through the third quarter, and I mean, he was locked in. So I love, you know, that he's kind of going to grow up with this team. You know, I mean, it feels like all these guys will be here 4 or 5, you know, years, maybe even beyond that. I mean, he's, you know, young in middle school, and, you know, by the time he gets to high school, I mean, these guys could potentially be playing and maybe have won world championships. It's just it feels like it's the start of something very fun. Mm-hmm. You know, it feels like you're about to watch, I mean, like the Saints in 2006. I mean, when you watched that Saints team in 2006, you were like, wow, this is about to get really cool.
For a hell of a ride.
Yeah, I mean, Breeze is like 29 years old. Sean Payton's very young. I mean, they're both bought in. They're both, they're bringing all types of free agents here. The first year they're going to the NFC Championship game. I mean, this is about to be a fun ride. And here you are, 15 years later with all the records and Super Bowl and, all of what has happened to the New Orleans Saints. It feels like the Pelicans are about to head down that path where they could, next 5 to 6 years will be really, really cool around here. We're brought to you daily. Remember, daily, we are brought to you by our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Get in touch with Jude Barker and the crew, 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. You mentioned the show. You save 15% over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Number one and a number two business. They can help you not only with residential, but they can help you with commercial work as well over at Barker Brothers. Get in touch with them, 225-776-2431. 225-776-2431. Mention the show and save 15% over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'll be out. Coach Caskey will be sitting in, and he will be breaking down Ole Miss film and looking in depth at the Lane Kiffin offense and what the challenge is going to be for LSU tomorrow, both offensively and defensively, on Saturday.
Should be fun.
He'll also be breaking down Cincinnati. He'll also be breaking down the Saints and Arizona from tonight.
That was much fun.
And we will be talking and previewing the college football weekend. But Brian Kelly yesterday was on a teleconference with the rest of the SEC coaches, and it sounds like Armani Goodwin could be making a return to the lineup this week. Kelly said he wants to play. Our doctors have cleared him. We'll see what kind of volume we can get out of him, and hopefully it goes well during the week. It sounds like he's practicing, and it sounds like potentially he could be back in the lineup. I still believe that Josh Williams is your top back, and you're going to have to work a guy like Goodwin, even if he is ready to go this Saturday. I think you're going to have to really slow play that because, a hamstring injury for any athlete is tough to overcome. A hamstring injury for a running back is, it's very brittle. It's you got to treat it very fragile just because you have to work it in. You don't want to go out there and just sprint out of the gates and have something reoccur on you. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle Armani Goodwin in his comeback, because it feels like the running back spot, a lot like the offense, is slowly but surely finding that rhythm that we've talked about, right? We've been wondering who's the back, who's the primary guy going to be on the team. At times, I think people were urging and wanting it to be John Emery, but with Emery's, inability to protect the ball early in the season and pass protect, I think that's has kept him off the field as the primary guy. Now, you've seen flashes, just like we've seen, throughout Emery's career, and to me, he's probably the only one that can hit the home run. He's the only one that can bust a 65, 70-yarder for you. But Josh Williams, to me, all in all, I know we talked a little bit about this, but with the return of Armani Goodwin, how you start to see this shuffle maybe shake up, I think that Williams is the guy. Everything has to kind of be worked around him being the back, because I love Goodwin, and I thought Goodwin was in a great space before the injury, at New Mexico State. If he'd have come out of that game and he would have been healthy, I think he would probably be in the position that we're talking about Josh Williams right now.
Yep.
But what happened was the injury gave Williams an opportunity, and Williams has seized it. He's taken advantage of his opportunity, and he's run with it. Literally. And I think that the consistency and the rhythm and the momentum that this offense is finding is a formula that you really don't want to mess with. More players, more bodies, more capable dudes, feed them to me all day as far as guys that can help you on the field. Armani Goodwin is one of those guys. But as far as the primary back on this team moving forward, as long as Josh Williams stays healthy, I think he's the running back. I think he's the guy that you feature in the offense. And then, you move people around when you need them. I mean, put Emory in there on situational downs where, you want to use him. And if Goodwin can get back to full strength to where he was, then you work him into the lineup. Noah Cain, I don't know exactly what's going on with Cain because Cain hasn't been, for a lack of a better term, it's not like he's been bad where he doesn't play. You know what I mean? Like when given a chance, I think he fits a role. He's not going to hit a home run. He's not going to shake anybody up. I mean, he's got a specific role to him that I think he plays.
Short yardage.
Yeah, goal line
situation.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Works. Everybody has a role in that room.
Yeah, and I think that that's what slowly has played out here over the last couple of weeks. Is people have found their footing. People have found their role. Yeah, and look, I don't want to overreact to Saturday and expect that to be the norm, but I think those types of performances for athletes can really unlock the playmaking ability that you have. I think that, a lot like we talked about over the last couple of weeks, it's a jump shooter in basketball. When it's not falling, get to the free throw line or go make a layup. Just watch the ball go through the net. If you're a quarterback and you're struggling with taking shots or just letting the ball go because you're worried that bad things are going to happen, well, if you get into a scenario where you do the opposite, right, where you let it go and you just put it up in the air and see what happens, and the outcome is you go on the road and you win a huge game, and everybody who's been talked about that's been left out of the game plan has been included. Brian Thomas, Jeray Jenkins, Kayshon Boutte, all these guys are now making plays. And look at the energy that it happens. I mean, how good was that video that populated for Kayshon? And I don't think that was intentional. I don't think that was on purpose. I think that was heat of the moment. Kayshon taking the opportunity to be a leader at halftime, and you can see the eyeballs of the guys around him. He's not hitting his chest. He's not yelling in the back. He's just kind of a soft-spoken superstar. And when he speaks, people shut up and people follow. And a lot like Brian Kelly said in the postgame, I mean, how good of coaching and leadership was that from Kelly? What do you think Kayshon's sitting there and think? You can see it. The camera catches it. As Brian Kelly is telling, the team and Kayshon, we need more of that. We need you to be that guy. We love when you're that person. You can see Kayshon's shoulders are kind of like standing up. I mean, his head, he's getting, prideful. I mean, his eyes, you can see that, like, challenge accepted, coach. I got you. All of that stuff, man, I thought was just kind of a residual effect of getting the ball early. Let him touch it in the first 5 minutes of the game. Let him make easy catches, and then you'll get the difficult catches from him. So, I mean, and once that happens, I would imagine that Jaden Daniels has this feel of, okay, like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world if it goes bad for a minute, because you're talented enough around you where you can get back, right? Interesting to see what Caskey has to say about LSU's matchup against Ole Miss tomorrow, because when you look at the matchup, right, this rush offense, it's different. It's different than what Kiffin has brought to Baton Rouge or against LSU since he's been in Ole Miss. Even going back to when he was calling plays for Alabama in the league, and you would see him year in, year out. He wanted to creatively embarrass you, right? Like, that's Kiffin's ultimate goal as a play caller. It was perceived as arrogance and egotistical when he started, and then it became, like scientific and surgical once you saw it working. Now, with what he has on this specific team, he is more of like a old school style game plan where they're coming in and they're just going to run it. They're going to run the football until they can't, and they're probably the best rush offense in the country. And the way that they do it is through this outside-inside zone attack where they've got athletes that are offensive linemen. You know what I mean? Like they've got big guys that can get out, run, pull, play one-on-one, play in space. And then you've got guys like Zach Evans, who's a really good back, kind of reading off of that. And a lot of the times you see Evans run, he's kind of like running by himself.
Mm-hmm. So
you know what I
good.
mean? Like it feels, I don't know if you guys can remember this, but I wonder if, people out there will recall this, like that Denver Broncos rush offense back when Elway was kind of at the end there with Terrell Davis. They ran this zone style of offense, and Terrell Davis would be running in the wide open. Now, don't get me wrong. He would have to make a couple of guys miss at the line of scrimmage, and he would have to find the hole. But once you do, it looks like pregame. You know what I mean? It looks as if you're running through almost like a practice drill is what this type of rush attack can create as far as the blocking scheme is concerned. And Kiffin, while he is perceived to be this creative genius and a lot of what he does is flash, people will tell you within the coaching circles that you put him on a whiteboard and get him talking like offensive line, defensive line stuff, like he could be a top 3 offensive line coach in the country, I hear, just because of what he knows of what makes his offense work, right? And the best thing about Kiffin to me is that whatever you give him, he's going to make work. Mm-hmm. Right? You give me athletes that are offensive linemen, sweet. You give me big guys that are just going to clog up holes and need to stand up and pass protect, we'll dice you up like that as well. He's a football genius, Lane Kiffin. So the matchup of he and Matt House is going to be an interesting one to watch, because I think while LSU has not been tested in their rush defense like they will this weekend, right? I thought Auburn put some pressure on it, but not like they will be tested on Saturday. I wonder what Caskey and the film will say, how LSU matches up against this, because the numbers don't look good for LSU, but I don't think they've had the opportunity, and that might be a cop out. That might be 7 games in, that might be an excuse, and maybe so. But I believe if game planned and with the emphasis being on stopping the run and really putting the highlight on, making that your first priority this week, I wonder how LSU is going to respond defensively. I really do, because Matt House has seemingly passed every test but the Tennessee one, right? I mean, that didn't go well or as expected, but I thought a lot of things were working against him. Field position, special teams woes.
Quick changes.
But I just wonder what that to me is the most intriguing matchup of the day. Lane Kiffin versus Matt House. Because like we've said all week, if LSU is going to play like they did on Saturday night, no defense left on LSU's schedule scares me at all. Like, at all. There's nobody that gives me any fear if LSU is going to have the plan that they had on Saturday night and they execute it like they did. Much easier said than done. But that's the athletes that you have, and that's the problems they cause when the ball is in the air and when the ball is in their hands. Just make that happen. Again, easier to sit here in this chair and say this on Thursday morning rather than being in the box on Saturday night and calling the plays. But last Saturday was a hell of a roadmap of that's something to grow on. That's something that you can take away and say, hey, look, this is a high potent offense if we use the guys that need the ball in their hand that can change the scoreboard. Kayshawn changes the scoreboard one play. Malik Neighbors changes the scoreboard one play. Brian Thomas can change the game in one play. John Emery can do that. Feels like Jaden Daniels is believing that he can now do that. if he's got the confidence to take that to the field on Saturday, LSU's a totally different team. I mean, they're a totally different matchup. Look at the point spread. That's what the point spread is telling you. On Sunday morning when Vegas woke up, they thought that LSU was still kind of the LSU from 48 hours before that. We'll give them 3 points at home against Ole Miss. And then the more they thought about it, the more they went back and looked at the film and got people talking, and the talking heads were talking about LSU's wide receivers. Kayshawn goes for over 100. Jaden Daniels throws for 300. 3 through the air. Like, holy shit. Well, maybe, are we giving them points? We might need to.
Bring this thing back
Yeah,
in.
whoa. They might need to be giving up the points now. And now here you are, just about 48 hours before kickoff, and LSU's a 2-point favorite. It's interesting to see this, and here this is the week where you got to put this together back-to-back weeks, because if you regress and go back to who you were, 2 weeks ago, then that's who you are. You know what I mean? Then that is who LSU truly is if they go out there on Saturday and they play with 2 left feet on offense, where they can't get going and everything looks clunky and everything looks difficult, and Kayshawn's not touching the ball, and they won't throw it up to Brian Thomas. Just things that obviously will work if you commit to it. And if they go back to 2 weeks ago, then you're right back to get to the finish line. Get to the offseason, keep the recruiting class intact. Don't let it fall completely on your face, and get ready for year 2.
But if you beat Ole Miss, you're right in the thick of it for the West.
No doubt.
I think it's obviously. I think Florida was the best case scenario for what the LSU offense can look like, and I think Tennessee was the worst. There's somewhere in the middle where you can keep Jaden Daniels comfortable and also keep his confidence up to where he'll be able to take those shots down the field. And if you try, I see what they wanted to do after seeing the Florida game. I can see why the Tennessee game happened, where look at these athletes that you have outside, like try to get them the football, good things are going to happen. They just pressed on the gas pedal a little too hard. Tennessee, they dial it back a little bit against Florida. Denbrock, I think, probably called his best game of the year in terms of like play calling, who they tried to feature, just everything they did to get Jaden Daniels comfortable, use the run game when you had to. If you can, I think Florida was the perfect game. I don't think you can expect that every single week for LSU to play like that. But if you can play 80% of that, you have a chance to win nearly every game. Because when you go up against Ole Miss, the things that have hurt LSU this year are slow starts. Ole Miss does the opposite. They start fast. Lane's first 15 are probably the best in the business. Like, he scores on nearly every first drive, first 2 drives. He knows he has a plan every time they start the game on offense. LSU has started slow, giving up leads, and then come back. That's something that it's a little Tennessee-ish, where if you let it get out of hand early, you might be in for a little bit of a weary crowd in Tiger Stadium. But if you can hold just a little bit, kind of go back and forth with them, and just keep yourself in the game, that's when you let Tiger Stadium take over in the 3rd and 4th quarter, and now you're in a dogfight. Because I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way, honestly. But I think it's going to be closer to it's going to be a lot of feeling each other out process, because this is chess, not checkers game for Lane Kiffin. Because they've seen all the film. They've seen what, obviously, all of the content coming out has been a byproduct of their run game. And Lane Kiffin's probably seeing, hey, I might go against Tennessee here, and maybe I throw it 35 times. I don't know. But I think it's like a chance for, they both know what's important. Ole Miss is undefeated, ranked 7th in the country. LSU, unranked, but still they control their own destiny to get to the SEC championship in the West. All you have to do is kind of take care of business. So it's not like any team's checked out of this one. I think it's a dogfight. Then the point spread reflects it.
Well, no, I think that LSU is about to get into 4-quarter games for the rest of the season. Like, I don't look at anybody that I believe LSU can boat race, and I also don't believe that LSU, with the capability that they have, like they showed on offense on Saturday, that they can get blown out, right? So, that's another thing that's really intriguing as a fan, or just somebody that's ready to watch, good football, is give me 4-quarter games every Saturday for the next 6 weeks, and, I'm all in. right? I mean, and I'd imagine that the majority of you are out there, looking for that as well, because I believe that you're going to continue to see improvement from LSU. That's the one thing that I think is so gratifying and refreshing about Brian Kelly and his staff is that they're not stopping until they find the right formula, right? And the people that work. And then those people are going to, improve. They still can't catch a punt. I get it. Look, I understand that they're going through some struggles and they're going to have some things that are going to, take a little bit longer to smoke out than others. But all in all, we can agree LSU's getting better every week. Right? I mean, if I'm sitting over there in Tallahassee, for as much shit as I was, as they were talking a couple of weeks back, it looks like those two programs are kind of
lined up again.
You know what I mean? Kind of headed like opposite directions. I mean, LSU is improving. LSU is figuring out roles, figuring out who they are. And, I mean, I'm not meaning to bring back up the Florida State stuff. It's just, it's a comparison. Since week one, how long ago does that game feel like? Oof. It feels like it was a decade ago. I mean, it feels like it was 4 teams ago at LSU. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that was forever ago. So, it's going to be a game, man. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I think Tiger Stadium, 2:30. I mean, the weather has been so beautiful. You'd imagine that it'll be the same on Saturday. Blue skies. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I thought the Tennessee game was a great atmosphere. You know what I mean? The football just didn't allow it to spark up and get moving.
Well, you talk about 4-quarter games. Ole Miss's schedule has not allowed for them to have – they shouldn't be playing 4-quarter games. They've played Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Tulsa, Kentucky, tough matchup, 22-19 they win, Vanderbilt, and Auburn. Ole Miss hadn't really played anybody yet. This is their first true test. Kentucky, I'll grant you that. That's a top 25 matchup. Kentucky's a pretty good team. However, you take that thing off the board, and they're not blowing these teams out. Like Tulsa, Ole Miss wins 35-27. Like, you give up 28 to Vandy, and then Auburn 48-34. Like, they get out to like I said, they get out to a quick start, but they let you linger, and they don't really put you away yet. You saw it with the Auburn game last week where they go up 21, you blink, and then Auburn's down 3.
Ole Miss is doing a series on YouTube called the Season.
Is it free?
It's free.
Oh.
And it's a 30-minute in-depth weekly look at Ole Miss football. And I've been keeping up with it. And I started watching it because of what we were doing on Dawn of a Legacy. And hopefully you out there have watched Dawn of a Legacy. Check it out. Brought to you by Bank of Zachary and Lane Memorial Hospital out in Zachary. It's an in-depth look behind the scenes of the game that just featured 2 Baton Rouge high schools on ESPN, Woodlawn and Zachary. Their 2 quarterbacks, Eli Holstein, respectively, going to Alabama. Ricky Collins committed to LSU. Just cool behind-the-scenes stuff. It's on our YouTube page. It's over at WAFB+. Really proud of it, but we were looking for some roadmaps, right? Like going back and watching, obviously, stuff like Hard Knocks and QB1, and there's a feature 5-star, I believe, on Netflix that we were watching. But there's all types of these things out there that you can go on YouTube and find. And I was watching Ole Miss is doing, it's called The Season on YouTube, and it's just a weekly look at some of the stories. They have game highlights. They've got Kiffin's presser. They've got behind-the-scenes stuff on players where, this is an every week profile of Ole Miss football, so you got to get creative, right? I mean, you got to find the offensive lineman who plays music and, loves to cook, certain stuff at the apartment to tell a story each and every week. I mean, that
gives haircuts.
That's the type of stuff, yeah. I mean, you got to find that type of stuff. But it also kind of, it brings you to practice. It shows you who's, banged up. It shows you what some of the stuff that they're going through. So, I mean, if you want to get an in-depth look, to keep it all, I'd imagine that Kiffin's like, look, we're not showing anything game week. So, like, right now you're watching Auburn week. This week leading into LSU, it's not real time. It's not like Hard Knocks where they're editing the stuff yesterday and putting it out today. This week you're kind of watching last week of what happened with Auburn. And one thing is for sure, is that when you watch it, you can sense that, and I would venture to say that Ole Miss probably believed that by the time they got to LSU, that LSU would almost be like a dumpster fire, kind of like looking for the finish line, and not so much like Ogeron's dumpster fire or like Les Miles's dumpster fires, just year one roster depleted, outside storylines of LSU. Brian Kelly's got a weird accent and dances with recruits. You know what I mean? Whatever, the stuff that everybody was talking about in the offseason that LSU's just not going to be any good. And you look up and you're like, shit, like we got to get prepared for this passing game. Like what are we going to do with Brian Thomas? I'd imagine that Brian Thomas keeps people, defensive coordinators, like just stir crazy all week. Because, you're committing to Kayshawn, right? I mean, if you get beat by Kayshawn on Saturday, what are we doing? You're going to let the best player beat us? But now with Kayshawn emerging as the guy, so now you got to really like put the attention to him. Malik's, kind of your second possession type receiver. And then you've got this 6'6" freak who is, jumping over everybody, catching everything, and within the 20-yard line mark, within the red zone, he feels unguardable.
Sick.
He feels like he is the toughest matchup on the field. Really. So if you're telling me that you're committing two of your top cover guys to Kayshawn, you got to worry about Malik, and then you've got your third or fourth best guy on Brian Thomas. I don't care if you're Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M, or Ole Miss. That's hell. That's a nightmare. That guy is better than every third or fourth cover guy in the league. I am willing to put, the reputation of this show on the line for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Whoa.
Yeah, that's tough. That's maybe too bold.
Hold the rope out there.
Yeah, a little too much dip on your chip.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe we do a little combo show.
Yeah.
Juwan Hearns, Jordy, you picking against LSU as usual? I think I'm riding with him this week.
Who'd you pick last week? Did you pick Florida?
I think I did pick Florida.
You did. Go on Ole Miss.
I picked Ole Miss?
No, I'm saying go.
Oh, yeah.
Ole Miss.
No.
I picked Ole Miss.
I know.
I've already put a pick out there.
I picked Tennessee.
Yeah. That went how it went.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be closer than that.
Yeah,
I
same.
think we all did. That's why I dragged my happy ass out there.
Yeah.
I picked Auburn. I picked Mississippi State.
Yeah, see.
There you go.
It's a trend
Go ahead and
here.
take Ole Miss.
I'm going to take the Tigers this week.
No!
This guy.
Take your buddy
Killing us.
Lane.
Land the points.
Take old Lane.
I'm with it.
Give him a call. See if he wants to come.
What's
on
the
show.
total on this? What's the total on this game? Throw
That
our
I can
boy
find
Zach.
for you. What do you think it is?
Like 48,
It is.
47, higher,
Yeah.
Oh,
Lot?
call.
Yeah.
By your model, you might have to take the over.
55.
Oh, more.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, it's a war.
60?
More.
More than 60. It's in the 60s. But it's more than 60.
Don't you look at the chat?
63?
More.
More.
65?
More.
68?
Yes.
He looked at the chat.
No, I didn't.
He was just playing the odds. At some point,
All right.
it opened at 65 and it's at 68.
68.
They hit the over last week.
I'd take it. Maybe.
That's a high.
I mean, 38-35 final?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
if it
even
hits the over, that's who does that favor?
If it hits the over, it favors LSU.
Yeah.
If it hits the over, it favors LSU. Because Ole Miss, to me, Ole Miss wants to almost play keep away
Yeah, they
from
run the ball
LSU's
a lot.
offense. Like, let's just run clock and possess the ball.
See if
You know
we
what I
can get a
mean?
few-
Like,
hit them with one.
yeah, right.
Score.
You may hit them over the top a little bit, but I mean, all in all, I don't think that they want to give LSU the chances
Any momentum.
to get to 40. I mean, if LSU gets to 40, they win the game. I mean, I think, right? I mean, like I would, I would think so. I mean, I would think that if LSU's got the ball enough to score 40, then Ole Miss's game plan didn't work. I mean, it's almost like they want to play keep away from them. All right, we'll be back. More first hour action. We're going to talk to Archie Manning coming up here at straight up 8 a.m. Great storyteller. Looking forward to catching up with the greatest to ever come out of Ole Miss.
I think that's easy. I think that's fair to say.
like-
If you got speed limits after you coach.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, it was
Second would be
1970 when he left.
second would
there's
be
a
Eli.
lot of people that have come through there.
Would Eli be the second best?
Deuce?
Patrick Willis? Deuce? I think it'd still be Eli.
Maybe Eli, yeah.
Got a
I mean-
stranglehold on Ole Miss.
Tripped over his offensive lineman with the West on the line.
He did.
we'll take
Last
it.
play of the game.
We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Eli's coming. Eli's coming.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us.
We're sitting in the dugout. So funny you say that. And Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he's in full uni, he's turfs, and he's standing up on the
First step.
fence, whatever, just like this, watching the game. And we start talking about, pissing your pants, something whatever. He's like, I'll piss my pants right now. We're wearing,
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up however many people were in there. I think it ended up being $2,000 total.
I pissed my pants for $2,000.
And
100%.
So he goes in there and he's watching the game and he just starts pissing in his pants, gray pants.
Yeah.
So you see it going down his pants, long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, on the dugout. And he just puts them back on and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy. The host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in.
What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Bears Lawn and Maintenance, our crew over here at the Noodle, also at the Oodle, at the UDL as well. Bears Lawn Maintenance is a locally owned and operated company. They can help you out. Give them a call today, 225-485-8022. Our friend Blake Bear and the crew over at Bears Lawn and Maintenance. Easiest way to find them is on Facebook. Just go hit them on Facebook. But they got a lot of cool things going on, obviously, here with winter. If you want some winter grass and need some help and making sure everything is staying pretty and nice throughout these next couple of months, get in touch with Bears Lawn and Maintenance. As we said, easiest way to do it is just by hitting them on Facebook. We're going to talk to Archie Manning coming up here in 10 minutes. So many ways to go with Arch, right? Things
Archie,
that you can talk to.
You can talk to him about
to Archie about. Yeah, it was the former Golden Pipes voice of the New Orleans Saints, Jim Henderson, who used to always call him Arch when they did the games together. Yeah, he would.
That's clearly the namesake, right? I'm stating the obvious there.
I would guess
Arch,
so. I think we got to ask him one Arch question. Just how good is he? How good is he?
What can he be?
Give me the grandfather's analysis there. Arch.
Who would you compare
He's
him
fine.
to?
He's good for a high school senior.
What people will say around the Mannings is that if there was one that he's most comparable to, it's Archie. It's his actual grandfather because of his ability to run. His, obviously Archie is older than us. I did not see him play. I've seen highlights, but when you watch him play, it's not like Peyton.
No.
It's not like Eli. You know what I mean? They've got a lot more Olivia in them than they do Arch, it feels like. You know what I mean? They're more like statuesque when they stand back there and throw it. Now, Arch, the youngest, the grandson, Cooper's boy, is
Cooper's boy.
Cool, Cooper boy.
Just going to full Mississippi.
Talk good daddy.
Yeah, go Cooper's boy.
But he's more like Archie. You know what I mean? He's when you watch him run, and then when you watch him play basketball, Arch is really impressive on a basketball floor. Just he's so big. He's huge.
Won't get to see him in the SEC till 2025.
That's good for him, I think.
Yeah,
a little buffer year.
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma said they'll wait until 2025.
I bet they will.
I bet they will.
Yeah.
Gotta get them.
I bet Oklahoma's like, can we push that back a little bit?
Yeah.
Oklahoma's like, hey.
Can we get 3 more recruiting classes?
I don't know if Venables is the guy. We made this deal when we had Lincoln.
Cordell Music, Archie used to get killed with the Saints, murdered.
Well, that's why he plays the way he played, right?
Some of the highlights of Arch with the Saints are just, they're hard to watch. They had us around him.
Well, it's a lot like Arch and Newman.
Oh my
I don't think there can't be another cat on that team catching a scholarship.
The tight ends going to Texas. They had this has been well thought out. The Arch plan at Newman. It wasn't as if he just hatched overnight. You know what I mean? In 7th grade, they were like, "Look, we got something here. Let's go get a couple of offensive linemen and tight ends.
Couple of players.
Your youngest brother, he's gonna play offensive line for you. Right. Practicing in the front yard.
And look, he's the center.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Yeah. All right, looking forward to it as we will we'll get that done.
With your brother?
Who, me? Would I go under center with my brother?
He has to go under center with his brother.
My brother's an idiot. I would not go under center with him. He'd probably get me killed.
All right, the Carpool Queen is here. Jamil is here. We will have hour 2 next as we'll get it going with some discussion with the legend, Archie Manning, coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Archie!
We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson & Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. It is always good to catch up with a legend. I remember when I was a kid, we went to Ole Miss, and my grandfather said, "You see the speed limit sign? You know why it's 18? I said, "No, why?" He said, "Because people in Mississippi can't count to 20. I was like, "Seriously?" He said, "No." He said, "Because Archie Manning used to kill not only LSU, but everybody in the country when he was a quarterback at Ole Miss, and that's how they recognize him on campus. The speed limit is 18 over in Oxford, Mississippi, and the reason it is because of our next guest, Archie Manning, of course. Now I'm sure he's known as Peyton and Eli's dad, or maybe even Arch's grandfather at this point. But former New Orleans Saints quarterback, former Ole Miss legend, and just a great storyteller and a great guy. Archie Manning here with us on this Thursday morning. Arch, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Thank you as always for your time. When did you realize how big of a rivalry LSU and Ole Miss was when you were growing up?
Oh, I used to listen to the radio with my dad, and we would listen. Actually, every Saturday, starting in the afternoon, we'd listen to Ole Miss game. We'd listen to Mississippi State games. Mississippi State had a great announcer named Jack Crystal. He had a great voice. So, yeah, I listened. I was 10 years old when Billy Cannon made his run down in Baton Rouge. We listened to that. That was a night game. I listened to that. So I knew it was big. You know, I grew up just 80 miles from Oxford, Mississippi, from Ole Miss. Actually, not too much further away from Starkville, from Mississippi State. So I kind of followed both those teams growing up. But I liked Ole Miss, and didn't really get to go to games, but just listened on the radio. They weren't on TV very much, and at a pretty early age, I knew LSU and Ole Miss was a big deal. It was a big rivalry. It was probably the top rivalry in the South and back in those days. Back in the 50s and 60s.
Now, when you got there, you played LSU. I want to make sure I get the story right. Correct me if I'm wrong. With a broken arm, right? Didn't you play against LSU with a broken arm? And what was your experiences like just when you got to Ole Miss in this game?
Yeah, I played. Of course, we played. In my era, we played freshman football. So our first game as a freshman, where that worked, you would go in and you could sign a lot of freshmen. You have a lot of walk-ons, and we practiced just among ourselves. We didn't practice with the varsity. Actually, LSU was a little different. I had several friends, same age I am, Mike Anderson, Craig Burns. They had a really good quarterback in that day named Butch Doohy, who died at a young age. But anyway, so you'd practice a lot among yourselves and just play 4 games. So you wouldn't play a game but every 3 or 4 weeks. It was kind of a tough year. But our first game was against LSU. And usually LSU would beat Ole Miss freshmen because LSU did practice against their varsity. Charlie McClendon was the coach, and he believed in mixing it up. And they were just tougher than us and more prepared, beat us. And then we played 3 more freshman games. I think we won all 3, but lost to LSU. So my first real experience was 1968. We rolled into Baton Rouge, and we had a pretty good team. They had a good team. They always had a good team. It was a good game that night, back and forth. Actually, we had a good passing game. You know, you didn't throw that much back in those days. We threw for a lot of yards that night, and beat LSU right at the buzzer. Got in the end zone just in the last few seconds and beat them. So that was quite an experience for me. You know, 18 years old and going into Tiger Stadium, playing that atmosphere and against the Charlie McClendon team, against a lot of good players. I mentioned, Mike Anderson, Craig. Let's see, Tommy Cass. Tommy wasn't playing then. I was a year older than Tommy Cass. George Bevan was a great player for LSU. Sage was a great player. I mentioned Craig Burns. So anyway, it was I'll certainly never forget it. They came to Jackson, 1969. They had a really good team, and we were really fortunate to beat them. I think we're the only team that beat LSU that year. But they made up for it my senior year. We went back to Baton Rouge. I tried to play with a broken arm. I'm not sure it would have mattered, broken arm or not. They just had a better team, and they beat us pretty bad. But I cherish my memories and my times playing in that great stadium, and the people I played against, the coaches, the players. It was it's really great memories. I'm glad I got to do that.
It seemed like everybody that comes through Ole Miss almost has to get your nod of approval, whether it be on campus or through the football program. What has been your thoughts of Lane Kiffin and what he has done here as the head coach of Ole Miss, and now he has them off to an undefeated start here coming into Baton Rouge on Saturday?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not quite hearing everything, but was that question about the coaches?
Yes, sir. About Lane Kiffin and just what he has.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lane Kiffin's done a good job at Ole Miss. Lane's kind of a different kind of guy. He came in there, and of course, he was in the pandemic. But last year went 10-2. Got Ole Miss to the Sugar Bowl. Got beat in the Sugar Bowl, but had a good quarterback who got hurt in that game. But Matt Corral had a really good year, and so they come back this year, a little different team. They lost a lot of players. Went heavy in the portal. I think we probably. I've read articles where they said Ole Miss was kind of led the way in portal sign out. Someone told me, I'm not sure if it's correct, that just a couple of weeks ago, Ole Miss started 17 portal players.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow.
But the schedule has not been real tough, but they've played good. And so now the schedule, the rest of the way out, I think beginning Saturday night will be a test. But I think Ole Miss is ready for it. They run the ball extremely well. They're one of the top rushing teams in the country, along with Michigan. And I saw where they're tandem. They have a portal player from TCU, a real good player. He'll be a pro player.
Yeah.
And they've got a freshman from Alabama. And the two of them are the number one in the nation in rushing as a pair. So that's a good stat. Anytime you can run the football, I know passing is kind of the sexy thing these days, and you see people throw up 300 and 400 yards, but it's still important to run the football, and Ole Miss does a good job with that. So I look for a really good game in Baton Rouge Saturday night. LSU, that was a great win for LSU to go on the road and beat a solid Florida team, and so they're always tough at home, and it's a big game in the conference. Big game in the Western Division with Alabama getting beat. You kind of look at LSU, and Ole Miss can kind of look ahead and say, wow, Alabama gets beat now, and we each get to play Alabama. A chance to maybe get to Atlanta. And so a lot on the line, and I'm sure it'll be a big crowd. And Ole Miss will have a big crowd coming down, and 2:30 game on CBS. You can't ask for anything more than that.
That was a great atmosphere that Peyton was in last Saturday with Tennessee in Knoxville, with everybody rushing on the field.
Yeah, that was a great atmosphere. It really speaks for Coach Saban and the job he's done at Alabama that they would beat Tennessee 15 years in a row. Tennessee, Alabama rivalry. I talked about back in my era the top rivalries, and of course, Ole Miss and LSU was a great rivalry. But so was Tennessee and Alabama. That third Saturday in October, and gosh, just all the way back to Gerald Nalen and Bear Bryant and all those. It's a big deal, and then. So it's really a credit to Coach Saban in Alabama that they'd knock off Tennessee 15 years in a row. So you can imagine the frustration that was built up, and the anticipation and just the lead up to the game last week. Game day, that's a big deal, and the 2:30 game and just everything. And then it was just a heck of a ball game. Yeah. I know. Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback, had a great night, and he's being talked about now as a Heisman candidate. But you also can't say enough about Bryce Young, who had been hurt and didn't play the week before. My understanding, didn't practice, didn't throw, and came out and threw for 400 yards in that game. He's a great player, great little player, and it was a back and forth, heck of a football game, and. Tennessee was fortunate to get a win, but it kind of sets up a little different scenario in the Southeastern Conference, and looking ahead to who's going to be in Atlanta. And also a huge game will be coming up. I talked about the big games coming up for LSU and Ole Miss, but I would say that Tennessee at Georgia game in a couple of weeks will be pretty big also.
Art, I know I ask you this every time I see you, but you had all of those guys in Thibodeau in the offseason, whether it was Stetson Bennett or Bryce Young or Hendon Hooker. I believe this is the 26th year of the passing academy. Could you have ever envisioned of what it has become and all of the popularity that it now experiences?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe. It makes me feel old that we've been doing that 26 years. We started back in 1996 and had a little camp at Tulane, and I think 185 kids. And we've done it the next 27 years. We skipped a year with the pandemic, but in those early years, we just had a few. I think we had 3 college quarterbacks our first year, which Peyton being one of them. He was at Tennessee. Eli was a high schooler. He was a camper. But then that's kind of grown with our camp, where we have 1,200 campers every summer from all over the country. But part of our staff is college quarterbacks, and we bring in around 40. I think we had 45 actually last year. That's been fun. They add so much to the camp because the campers just love being coached by them. And then they have a good time working out together, and Peyton and Eli spend a lot of time with them. So it's fun to get to know them. I kind of pick them, and I try to mix it up. I get some pro scouts that tell me who's the top 10 or 12 in the country. We invite them, but then, I try to mix it around the Louisiana schools and get their quarterbacks, and then get some small college kids and ACC, SEC. Last year, I think we did have 12 out of the 14 quarterbacks in the SEC there. By the way, we have a kind of a little throwing day on Saturday, and the LSU receivers come over for me. Yeah. And, God, they're really impressive bunch. And so we bring in some other receivers from Tulane and Southeast Louisiana, South Alabama. But I had all 3 of the LSU quarterbacks there for that throwing day, which was really, really fun to have those guys and the LSU receivers. So got a good look at them. And I got to say I'm impressed with Daniels and how the job he's done. Not an easy job for him to transfer and come in, and he's competing with other guys, and I think he's really done a good job at quarterback, and it looks to me like he's gaining confidence as he plays also.
Yeah, that video or that day that you're talking about when the wide receivers went down, that was like the first time that LSU fans had seen Kayshawn running since the surgery. So everybody was watching that film and seeing them all work out there. Arch, do you and Olivia watch the Manning cast? Do y'all watch the boys on Monday night?
I'm sorry, Jody. I didn't get that.
Do you and Olivia, do y'all watch the Manning cast? Do y'all watch the Monday Night Football Manning cast when the boys are on?
Yeah, Olivia and I watch it. We sit back and watch it. Every now and then Olivia will say something like, tell Peyton to comb his hair or something. So I'll text the producer. It's I was actually out there for one. I was with Eli for one. Not this year, last year, and in his basement. And I may be in Denver in a week or two. We may get a visit out there to see the grandkids, and they'll be having one. Peyton does his at a neighbor's kind of man cave. Cool place. Cool place. So, yeah, they've had fun with that. And it kind of amazes me the texts and the emails I get while it's on or the next day that people seem to enjoy it. So we kind of get a kick out of it.
Last one, I'll get you out of here. The last time I saw you was in a basketball gym, and you were watching Arch and Newman play Dunham here in Baton Rouge. From your analysis, I know he's your grandson. How good is Arch, the football player?
They have a good year, Jordy. Newman's Newman's a good school, and we feel fortunate. Our three boys went there, and I have two grandsons there. Everybody kind of reads about Arch, but his little brother Hyde is his left guard, and he's a junior. And Hyde plays beside Brett Bordelon, who's our left tackle, and LSU people know that name. Ben, of course, played at LSU, and Bo Bordelon is a freshman offensive tackle who played at Newman last year.
Sure.
So we're proud of Hyde. Archie's Newman's having a good year. Their schedule, they kind of had a tough time getting non-district games, getting people to play them. So they've really played up this year, and went over to, let's see, where they played Hahnville, which is a 5A school, or played played scrimmage Holy Cross, played Dallas Sal in a jamboree. They're undefeated now, and fortunate enough to beat them. It was a jamboree though, but anyway, played Benton. Went to Manny, Louisiana, which is a really good football player. They beat Newman, but we went over and beat a good Bell Chase team, and now it's got district games. So Archie's healthy and playing good. They're having fun. Got some big games left. He lost his tight end. His best friend, Will Randall, is also going to Texas. He's got an ACL. Just broke our heart. Just miss Will, and it's just hate to see a good player get hurt this senior year. But Jordy, high school football is still so pure and good, and should be fun for kids and parents and fans. And I always encourage people to go out and see a high school football game because it's pretty good. I know they play great high school football in the Baton Rouge area. Played some of those schools through the years, and probably have to play some in the playoffs this year. But it's good stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
One more, I'm sorry. Your relationship with the Saints now. How do you watch the Saints? I know you have all types of football happening, but in New Orleans, how do you keep up with the black and gold?
Jordy, I apologize because I'm not don't have a good connection here. I didn't get all that.
The Saints. Do you still keep up with the Saints and watch them?
Oh, the Saints?
Yes,
you
sir.
say the Saints?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, dog. The Saints just can't seem to get going. They got a bunch of injuries right now. I thought the Saints were really going to be. I knew their defense was good. They got a good defense. Got a couple of people hurt. They're not as good when Lattimore's not in there. I can tell you that. But I thought they'd really been hurting at the wide receiver position to help out Jameis Winston, and then of course Jameis gets hurt. Although I thought his backup had come in and done a good job. It's just tough. But we had these three new receivers. Thomas is going to be back. The LSU kid's going to be there, a good rookie. And all of a sudden they're all out. And it's just, injuries. Other teams have them. You hate to use it for an excuse. But the Saints kind of need to be healthy and at full force if they're going to win. Right. And so they're off to a tough start. Guys, nothing tougher than playing a game and heading out to almost to the coast, Arizona, to play a Thursday night game. I mean, that's brutal. And so I know Arizona's not great, but I think that's a tough game for the Saints tonight. And we'll see how they do. They badly need a win. Badly need to get a win and get going. I'm not sure if Andy or Jameis are going to start at quarterback. I'm not sure we need to use Taysom Hill more. He may be our best. I think he's our best player. I believe I'd get it in Taysom's hands every chance I could.
The one and only Archie Manning. It is great to hear from you. Thank you as always. Enjoy the weekend.
Jordy, thanks for having me. Wish you best. Always, you've been a good friend. Always glad to be with you. I apologize for my connection here this morning, but a lot of fun. I know it'll be rocking and rolling in Tiger Stadium Saturday afternoon.
Yes, sir. See you soon, Archie.
Okay,
Thank
pal.
you, man.
Take care. All the best.
There he is, Archie Manning, the one and only, checking in.
Literally
the
one and only.
Let me tell you, if that was Peyton, if that was Cooper, if that was Eli, we wouldn't have hoaxed the interview. We would have definitely interviewed Eli Manning.
Yeah, or Peyton Manning.
I was thinking too. How can you listen to that and not know that was Archie?
That is unreal that
That's
people
so
don't think
bizarre.
that's Archie.
What a tinfoil hat chat we've got today.
That is a conversation brought to you by RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Remember, you can find them online. The Instagram is going wild over at RMB Builders. Go check them out over there. Whether you need a brand new house, whether you need a custom design house, whether you need some work done around the house like Katie and the crew's got going on, all RMB, they can help you out. rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. rmb-builders.com. They're on Instagram. They're all over social media. Find them there. And RMB Builders also brings back our podcast. So anything that you may have missed, you can check out there at YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. All of that compliments from our friends over at RMB Builders. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. The Carpool Queen is here. We'll welcome her back to the set. Zach Ewing will be here from The Advocate talking spreads here in a couple of minutes. Appreciate Archie Manning for stopping by.
Frank Caliendo.
Yeah.
Sounded just like Arch.
I mean, just like Arch.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculottashow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com. Southern Eye Center is located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy, Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. The window is open. Caesars Sportsbook is giving us our lines for the weekend, and we have welcomed back in. After a week off, wanted him to simmer down a little bit. He was too hot at the beginning of the year. He has taken that literally and has spread that throughout the crew here. Nobody can pick a winner. So we're bringing Zach back in to grab a winner.
Parlay this weekend.
Okay.
Caught a cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little cold. From the in-laws across the pond, settled back in here to Baton Rouge, and looking at another pretty good weekend of numbers, right? But again, this is something, Zach, that you and I talked about early in the season, and we see it again. And this one is with an LSU game, where the spread opens on Sunday, with the road team Ole Miss giving points. By the time this thing gets to midweek, the home team is now swung to the favorite here, and LSU is, according to our friends over at Caesars, 2.5-point favorites here.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It is.
I mean, and we kind of have a saying over at Bayou Bets that if a line doesn't make sense, you have to go with the nonsensical side.
Right.
And so that makes me want to take LSU. But, if you had asked me a week ago and said, okay, LSU and Ole Miss both win, what's the line for Ole Miss? I would have said Ole Miss -3, -4. I mean, so the opener seemed light to me to begin with at Ole Miss -2, and now it's swung 4.5 points, which is this huge difference. So it just makes you think, does somebody know something we don't know? Is it as simple as Ole Miss hasn't played anybody, and now they're coming in not only to play their toughest opponent, but in their toughest venue? If you had told me it was Ole Miss -3, I think I would have said I like LSU. But I'm real gun shy now.
Yeah. And our friends over at Caesars have it now actually at 2. The Tigers favored by 2. So this thing's continuing
So
to
ticks back, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of just swing around here. All right, Zach, take me to, we're at the midway point here. Like, we're all up in the mix. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to run. If you're a gamer, if you're a bettor, this is the point where you either hope you're hot or you're trying to work yourself out of a hole.
Or you're paying the bookie, or Caesars going back to the window.
Yes,
dodging some phone calls.
Any games jump at you this weekend that feel like can get us out of a trap?
So the first thing I would say is the most important thing is to stay even. When you're winning, don't feel like you should bet more on games just because you're hot. When you're losing, don't feel like you should bet more on games just because you need to catch up.
Thank you, Zachary. Thank you.
Let's just
that spot.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Where the rainbow's at.
And I understand the temptation, but you just have to keep to your process, and that's what I've tried to do. My favorite pick in college football this week. I'm gonna go way down the board a little bit.
Oof, take me to you. Let's go, man.
Hold my hand.
Into the Big Ten, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Hell yeah.
Traditional Big Ten power.
Shiano.
Chop wood.
They are laying 3 points against Indiana. And on the surface, you kind of look at this and you go, okay, well, they're at home. 3 points is home field advantage. They're 3-3. Indiana's 3-4. This line is right where it should be. Indiana might be the luckiest team in the country. Indiana beat Illinois in the opener. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was the opening Thursday night. It was some silly, crazy game where Illinois fumbled 4 times. And then Western Kentucky, a couple of weeks later, Indiana beat them in overtime. Same thing. Western Kentucky missed a field goal at the end where their coach screwed things up. And it was – I remember this because I bet on Western Kentucky. If you look at it, Indiana really ought to be 1-6. And the one was against Idaho, who's an FCS team that was tied with them in the third quarter. Indiana's not a good team. They're just not a good team. And what's more is to move the ball, they have to run it because their quarterback's no good. And so they rely heavily on the run. And Rutgers is top 10 in the country in rushing defense. So
may have found a honey hole here.
Rutgers at home, this is one of those where it's a line not a lot of people are paying attention to. You're only laying a field goal. I really like Rutgers in this spot.
Man, did Tom Allen dupe the system over in Indiana?
I mean,
1 year where he was dancing in the locker room, how much money did he make?
Oh, man, he was kissing players that were getting injured. He was all over the television. And it's like, oh, we stink.
And then this year they were 3-0, and they were on the brink of the top 25. They were like getting votes in the AP poll. And you're like, this team sucks.
Rattled off 4 straight L's.
Yeah, they went to Nebraska and lost by 3 touchdowns, which Nebraska doesn't do that to anybody. They've looked awful. I don't understand the line, but I don't think it's one of those where, it doesn't make sense, so you have to go against it. This one doesn't make sense because people just don't realize how bad Indiana is.
Ugh.
Now Indiana will win by 20, of course, now that we're talking
right.
about this.
Hoosiers. Anything about tonight? Thursday night game? I mean, Thursday night football feels like a lock on the unders. I hate to look at Trent, but I mean, like, the football is so bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
tired.
The quick turnaround. What's that?
They're tired.
No, I mean, they're
They
beat
shouldn't be
up.
playing on Thursdays.
It's been really bad. I mean, we've got bad matchups, too, like Colts, Broncos, and Bears, Commanders. What did you guys think was going to happen? This one's not a whole lot better, is it? You can't trust the Saints to do anything.
I know.
I like this spot for them because Arizona seems like they're a total mess. They only scored 9 points against Seattle, which we saw how bad that defense was. So I think it could be a get right spot for the Saints, but you don't even know who's going to play quarterback. There's nobody to play receiver.
Cardinals get DeAndre
Chris
Hopkins
Olave's
back.
Tonight, but they get DeAndre Hopkins back. I don't see how you can trust either team. So
is
maybe
Robbie Anderson playing tonight?
Oh, I would imagine.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, even Hopkins, like they traded for Robbie Anderson. The Cardinals did, but there's no way he's going to play. They traded for him 2 days ago.
Right.
You're going to throw him out there. So I don't know. Then again, when have the Saints ever played a mobile quarterback well? Like Josh Allen ripped them a new one last year. Jalen Hurts has done it 2 years in a row. Marcus Mariota did it this year. Like they don't play mobile quarterbacks well in that scheme. I don't trust anything. I guess I would lean Cardinals. I will say we had an odds boost. Our Bet.Nola odds boost on Caesars was Zion to go over 30 combined points, rebounds, assists, and the Saints to win. And originally it was plus 475.
Wow.
And so I hammered that, and Zion did his part last night. So I have the Saints at plus 475. So
cool.
I feel good about that because I think they have a better chance than that. I just don't trust them.
That's the way we should do this thing. You have a couple of good boosts on the Caesars app. Kamara, 50-plus rush yards, 50-plus receiving yards, boosted up to 350. Hill and Ingram, each 40-plus rushing yards, plus 575. So if you don't really want to bet on the game, but you want to have action, go find you a couple of props.
Are there prop plays that you suggest or ones that you go to more than others? Or you go to individuals or you go to game props?
There's certain teams you can pick on. Arizona's a great example. Arizona does not defend the tight end well. Now, the issue with that tonight is, okay, does that mean we target Taysom Hill because he's going to run the ball, or does it mean you target Jawan Johnson I haven't even looked at his prop. I imagine it's down around 20 yards. So that's one I could see. Juwan Johnson gets maybe 3 catches, maybe even 2 catches. He's over that. And the Cardinals they're like number 32 in tight end defense.
Oh, wow.
So as far as like fantasy points against or DVOA. And so yeah, you can pick on certain teams. The Cardinals have been one for a couple of years now. The tight ends tend to do well. The Saints, they don't match up real well with that. The Saints are just a mess. They're a mystery.
Do you look at any other sports right now with it being such a buffet of sports? So you mentioned the NBA and Zion. Do you look at these NL, AL, CS series between Major League Baseball?
I'll look at them. It's hard to find value right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Astros are even money to win the World Series right now, which I understand they look like they're not going to ever lose. But they have played a bunch of close games. Every game they've played has been a 1-run game or a 2-run game. All it takes is a couple of those to flip, and they're in trouble. So I can't lay even money when they got to get through 2 series.
Right.
And then the NL teams are like plus 380, but you've got a coin flip to survive, and then you've got the Astros possibly to play or the Yankees, and they'll be underdogs. So I don't see a lot of value. Player props a good way to go there again. I think we had our best bet on Bet.Nola earlier this week was the Phillies to win, but Yu Darvish to go over 5.5 Ks, and we hit both of those. And so there's little bits of research you can do. One good one to look at. A lot of games have starting pitcher total outs props, and how often do the starting pitchers go 6 innings in the playoffs?
Rare.
Maybe 1 out of 5 times.
Right.
And those lines are usually like 16.5, 17.5 outs. So you're basically betting on whether the starting pitcher goes 6 innings. Just take the under. You just take the under every game. You're going to hit 70% of them. Sometimes they're juiced a little bit. You got to pay minus 130, minus 140. But to me,
what's that when you
winner,
collect?
Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that's because I would imagine that the managers are over managing, right? They want to be able to get to matchups, and they don't ride it the same way that you do in the regular season.
And some of them have been told. I mean, do y'all remember in the World Series? It was the pandemic World Series. Blake Snell, the guy who pitched for the Padres yesterday, was with Tampa, and he had a no-hitter, a 1-hitter or something. They took him out because a third time through the lineup, can't do it. And so you're like, well, if they're going to be told from the front office, this guy cannot face a lineup the third time, those props haven't caught up to that. They're still like over 5 innings. They're not getting even to 5 innings a lot of times. So
Wow.
that's one interesting one.
Do you watch NBA spreads?
I do. And NBA is a perfect example of if the spread doesn't make sense, go with it, man. Because somebody knows somebody's resting or is on a back-to-back or
Miami flu.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work real well the first week of the season, but starting like next week, if you see a line where you're like, how in the hell is Charlotte favored over Philadelphia? Just go with it.
Yeah.
Just go with it. Because there's a reason. But I did pick some player props. In fact, you can still get it, especially because they lost last night. Denver to win the title is like 25-1. When they get Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter back, Nikola Jokic has been 2-time MVP. 25-1 means a 3% chance to win the NBA title. I'll take it.
In the playoffs the last 2 years?
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, they made the playoffs basically with as bad of an injury situation as you can have. And if they get healthy, you're banking on them getting healthy, but 25-1.
All right, swing back to the NFL for me real quick. I know we talked about tonight's game. Anything else on Sunday that makes sense? I saw Odell Beckham Jr. just signed with the Vikings. I know that does have an immediate impact on what they're doing. But anything from a
true? I think you might have gotten fooled by the internet.
Hoaxed?
Yeah,
I got hoaxed.
Yeah,
my bad.
I was about to say, I don't
Ball
think
sack.
It's a
ball sack sports.
It is.
My bad on that. But
let's not do the Odell thing again like we did last year.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Rap sheet. Hold on.
Maybe it is real.
It might be real. We'll continue. I'll continue. I'll let you know if
they're
I find
on a
it.
bye this week, I think. It's a weird week. There's a lot of spreads right at the key numbers, right at either 3 or 7. And so you got to have a lot of conviction. But it also means it could be a good week for teasers, where if you like, let's say New England on Monday night against Chicago is a 7.5-point favorite. You tease them down to 1.5. You also take, I think the Raiders are 7-point favorites against Houston. So now you tease them down. You're going to get a little bit better odds than you would with a money line parlay, and all you need is for them to win by 2 points. And so there's a couple of others. The Bucks are the biggest favorites at 11. I think there's one other team that's a 7-point favorite. Or if they're a 3-point favorite, you tease them to where they're a 3-point.
Baltimore.
Yeah, you get +3. Yeah, there you go. Baltimore against Cleveland. So yeah, there's some spots.
And then Vegas over Houston's a 7-point spread.
Yep. The Jets are in Denver, and they're only like a 1-point underdog or something like that. At least as of yesterday.
The Jets feel like they've kind of been a sweetheart.
They have. I mean, the Sharps like them.
Jets and Giants.
There's a weird one. The Giants are 5-1. The Sharps don't like them. They're 3-point underdogs in Jacksonville. So a lot of weird lines. I don't have a play that I'm all about this week. I just when the lines are like that, you got to kind of be a little bit careful.
Rutgers.
But I do love Rutgers.
Load up, Scarlet Knights. Zach Ewing, he's here every week. He's our guy. He's the director of sports betting and gaming over at The Advocate. He's a quick follow over on Twitter, and you can keep up with him at Z Ewing. At Z Ewing is where you can keep up with him on Twitter and catch him here every Wednesday. Thursday. We get any confirmation on it?
Yeah, if you want to believe Bend Over Insider. I think that he might have signed with the Vikings.
I was looking forward to Odell and Justin Jefferson splitting the hashes.
IP Freely has confirmed.
You're right, yeah. Benjamin Dover.
Man. All right, Zach. Good to see you, buddy. We'll see you next Thursday.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back. Close it out here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Damn it.
Damn it.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're sitting in the dugout.
So funny you say that.
And Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he's in full uni, he's turfs. And he's standing up on the fence, whatever, just like this, watching the game. And we start talking about, pissing your pants, something whatever. And he's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up however many people were in there. I think it ended up being $2,000 total.
I pissed my pants for $2,000.
And
100%.
So he goes in there, and he's watching the game, and he just starts pissing in his pants. Gray pants.
Yeah.
So you see it going down his pants, long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, on the dugout. And he just puts them back on, and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, Our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in.
What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
But he's making plays. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, as we're always brought to you by our friends.
Car.
GEAUX Chevrolet.com. GEAUX Chevrolet.com, if you don't mind. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. I was trying to find.
Wait, what did you say, Jordy? I can't hear you.
Well, we had a car come down the street dragging half its ass whenever Zach was trying to
axle.
Yeah, it's like the government street doesn't take another one.
Go Tigers 10, second time Jordy got punked today. Archie first and the Vikings second. Coincidental?
I think not. That was Ben Dover actually on the phone earlier today.
Coincidence?
I think not. Give me that head.
All right, we talked a ton about this LSU Ole Miss game. I like the Tigers. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm taking LSU. Well, I'm not going to be able to make my prediction tomorrow. I like LSU. I would take LSU with the points.
God, I hope so.
And I'll be there on Saturday. I think it's going to be a great environment.
What's the gut tell you? Any
I
feelings?
don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Ooh.
I don't want to say anything.
Oh,
yet.
Katie has
I
that gut feeling.
I do get the gut.
But you don't like Ole Miss, so you should want them to
Once you catch that gut, let us know.
I will. Don't worry. I will.
Please.
Y'all might get
Get it up
another
the
late
gut.
night
Please.
meeting.
Yeah, please show us.
Everybody's waiting.
I have my door locked in my office right now.
Oh, Katie's here?
I think Katie's showing her gut.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, boss, I got to head out real quick. Got a little problems at school.
I will be
Just sit in
praying
my car.
to the football gods that LSU wins this game.
Oh, you should have heard her in the break.
very
She was
important.
saying there's a really good chance that Ole Miss loses the rest of their games this year.
There
We're
is
like,
a great chance of that. From here on out, they could lose every game.
So, what do they come up? Are they coming to Starkville or y'all going to?
Ooh, no, we go there.
Is that Thanksgiving night?
Yeah.
Oof.
The Egg Bowl.
Such a great game.
It
Beat
is
down your
such a
leg.
great game,
Yeah.
but I will never go back to Oxford.
Oh,
for
here
that
we
game
go.
again.
Here we go. Here
I
we go.
won't. And I've
Why?
done it
More
recent-
nevers.
recent
Do
years.
they treat you bad?
Never
there?
going
I
back.
just hate it there. I hate
I hate it there.
I hate the atmosphere. Like, the Grove sucks. It's so overrated.
Lock the vote.
People are awful.
Oof.
I mean, even
Why?
if we win, they will follow you out of there just screaming. and
Howdy,
it's
toddy,
just-
gosh.
Mississippi State people in
Ole Miss
general?
people.
No,
They're
but
not
they're following
Oh,
Mississippi
yeah.
State, just Mississippi
yeah,
State people.
The last time I was there, and it was, I mean, in the last 5 years, that happened as we were leaving the stadium. Like, I
Howdy,
wanted to
toddy,
turn
baby.
around and just punch them all out.
Throw a hot dog at them.
I will. throw
Corn
a hot
dog.
at a corn dog.
Corn dog.
What? I don't.
Smack him upside the head with that bell.
Yeah.
Well, you can't bring a bell there. You can't bring a bell to Oxford. Are you kidding?
Well, you got to just bring it there and shake it in the Grove.
I could do that. People do that.
Yeah.
People do that.
That sounds
but the
so
rivalry is
incestuous.
so bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
is.
so much fighting.
Sounds
It's
like I hate
so
my
bad.
cousin.
So I mean, that's a move right
Uncle
there.
Jed.
I
That's
also
a move.
like him though.
What happened?
Deep-rooted hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is deep rooted.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can see it.
In
I
my
can see it in
bones.
your eyes. You almost want me to like.
Like Ole Miss.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Come at me,
I like
say
the
something
Grove.
good about
Say something good about Ole Miss.
I dare you.
The Grove is not overrated.
Show's over.
Feel that way. I mean,
you're
Jim
kind of
Rome
like
moment.
staring me down,
Yeah.
like head nodding me, like make a move.
I really am.
Say
like,
it.
Yeah,
Like,
say you like
something.
I'm
Lane
breaking
Kiffin.
eye contact.
Yeah,
What do you
right.
think about it?
I mean, I like Archie. I like
Archie
Eli.
too. There's nothing.
How
yeah.
can you like Archie and have so much hate for
Well,
Ole
he's
Miss?
like Louisiana's son.
Okay.
He's football's son.
Yeah.
Football god. First house of football, the Mannings.
And he's just Mississippi. I mean, he just
He
went
is
to Ole Miss. He could have gone to Starkville.
I mean,
as you said.
anybody who thought that wasn't Arch.
Y'all crazy.
Rewind the tape.
First off, I mean, within the first 3 minutes of the interview, he says Starkville.
I know.
And I'm like,
That's Mississippi.
is.
there it is, man.
That's
I mean, like,
Mississippi.
State
That's how
right
my
there.
Starkville
and the way he
friends
says
talk.
his S's. Archie
Yeah.
has always had this,
Yes.
like,
Little whistle.
S. And, I mean,
It's
That's
there.
so
at no
strange.
point during that interview did I ever think that we were getting duped.
No.
Who duped us? Quincy.
Walter Nolan. Oh,
Quincy.
Quincy.
What Quincy do?
Quincy put somebody
Quincy.
else
God,
on the
that was so
phone.
good.
No doubt. He
tough.
denies it, but he did it.
It was
Yeah, but his denial was almost an admittance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It
got
was
caught.
almost kind of like we
Well,
caught
he was
you.
like in the locker room
Yeah.
doing that interview at school.
Oh.
When we first met him, no one knew him. That was the issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
so
then
he
he
was
blew
very
up.
young and humble and like, I'm just happy to
Who's
be
Quincy
here.
Wiggins?
Yeah, right.
It
Like,
was such a good interview. Then we got duped, and then we
and
got
then,
hung up
then
on.
He blew up.
Yeah.
Was it Walter Nolan, the one where we took the lights down?
No, that was Quincy.
That was Quincy also, right?
That was Quincy.
That was
Okay.
Quincy because we just
After he hung up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're like, he's not coming to LSU. He doesn't even want to talk on the phone with us.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
That's
then he
right.
came in studio. We're like, oh, LSU has to have him. He couldn't fit in the door. And then got a tattoo.
It was a new tattoo, remember? Because he was just looking at it the whole time.
Uh huh.
All uniform team.
Great
Who?
ass.
Quincy. First off,
Oh.
first off the bus. Him and Ali
Kidding
Gay.
me?
11,
He
93.
looks so good in the uni.
Come here.
Has he played a lot?
He plays kickoff. He's on kickoff return.
Oh, that's where he should be.
Yeah.
He's not on the punt team?
No.
Why? Like,
What do you want him returning?
Marlon Martinez? Over this guy?
I'm trying to look up the amount of snaps he's played.
Hunter Hall, I just locked LSU, but I'm afraid of Jordy's Kool-Aid.
That is that's a dangerous sip you're
It is-
taking there.
it is a kiss. Not necessarily of death, but it is a kiss.
Getting something.
It is a kiss.
Happy Sports Equinox, by the way. Did
What is
y'all know
that? What is that?
Today
What
is
is
the
that?
day when
You Ole Miss hater.
all 5 of the American professional leagues play and overlap each other.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's called the
Wow.
Sports Equinox.
It's a
or
sports
Equinox.
I
Should've
don't
been-
know how
Did
you
you
say
know
it.
that before you just Googled that?
No, I didn't Google it. I got it in an email this morning.
It should have been sports game.
I get some sports emails. Where I get
Oh,
my
that's how
information
she does the
from.
document. I'm over here scouring for research.
No, I Google
yeah.
before I do the document. I get these emails in the morning.
So what's the 5 leagues?
MLB,
yeah,
NFL,
MLB,
NHL,
NBA.
MLS, NBA.
Oh, we got soccer tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Who's
5.
playing?
Dynamo.
Yeah.
Take them.
Pretty cool. It
Money
happens
line.
again on Sunday too, by the way. It doesn't always happen twice a year, but it happens twice this year in a week.
That's pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah. Yes.
I think so too.
Who's playing
I
tonight?
watch baseball at this
Does
time of
anyone
year.
watch hockey,
Yeah,
though?
it's
No.
real intense.
I see.
I
I'm
feel
doing
bad
what you
for
do. I'll
hockey.
watch hockey when the play. Like I don't watch it, but I'll put it on when it's the playoffs because it's so intense. And I'm doing
Yeah.
the same
It is
thing.
intense.
We're doing the same thing for baseball. Where I'm like almost gravitating. Like I'll put the game on last night. Like I'm finding the. Like I'm having to actively search for them, and I would never do that. until
This
the
part of
playoffs start.
playoff baseball is, as to me, is comparable to college football Saturdays. It's as good as sports can give you. It's the best that sports can give you. To me, NBA playoffs, which I know people can live with or live without, to me, those are the best athletes in the world playing at their highest level, like turned up, right? So I'm in on that. This part of the baseball season, it's every pitch feels like it means something. And when you got that type of talent and that elite of athleticism and just focus on one sport like they have been their whole life, that's as good as sports can provide. I mean, that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's all you can, as a fan, ask and get in return is just best effort, competitive, good, wholesome competition. You know what I mean? Like, really, I mean, like, that's as good as it gets.
And then last night you have it's 1-1 for the Yankees Astros. Like, this is just a game that I was watching, and it's not, it's exciting, but nothing's happening. They're living and dying every pitch, and then Astros go back-to-back home runs to put up a 2-spot, and that was pretty much the game. Like, that's what it took. 2 pitches to change what you were watching in a matter of probably
30 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah, exactly. And you're just like, oh, they just put this game on its head, and it's you can't really look away because you'll miss something. And baseball is the easiest sport to look away from. Like, during the regular season, you're like, oh, it's on. What's the score? This, if you're like locked into every pitch, it's a lot like college football because there's so much that's on the line. And then when college baseball gets into like regional play, you're like, oh, I'm locked in right now. Like, you want to watch every pitch just because of it feels like there's so much gravity on it. The importance changes your interest a little bit, even though I have no ties to any of these teams.
What, are you watching because of the Nola brothers?
Yeah, that's why I watched that yesterday too? Yeah. And I have a little future on the Phillies just because
this guy.
I always bet on the teams that shouldn't be there that are hot. Like, they had to win a wild card game, and then they, shouldn't be where they are, but they don't know that, and Philly fans are insane. So anytime you get that kind of, it's like the Eagles in the Super Bowl. It's like they don't know what they know, and Philly fans are crazy, so it's always a hostile place to play.
What a scene yesterday in San Diego with the Nola Bros.
Yeah.
Dad didn't know who to cheer for.
Nola.
That shot of AJ Nola, who quite possibly could be the nicest man in the entire world. If you've ever met AJ Nola, he's always at Zealand Street, always eating, and he's like, I mean, bro, you want to talk about like a handyman? The dude can fix anything.
Wow.
I mean, like, he is the most. I mean, he can build a house by himself, start to finish.
Amazing.
And
can he change a tire?
And his 2 kids, no doubt, in his sleep. And his 2 kids. What a moment! Like, how cool that has to be.
Insane.
Well,
from just
like Archie Manning.
datum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's like Archie.
Yeah. Definitely like Archie.
Yeah, it's like Archie. Is AJ Nola the Archie Manning of baseball?
Totally.
Oh.
Right?
Put it on the poll, Stewie.
Put it on the poll, y'all.
Who else would it be?
I know. I don't know.
I don't know baseball like that.
Me either.
But I can't imagine. I mean, Ken Griffey.
Right.
Maybe?
Then you have like a couple of like kids that are playing where their dad were professionals, like Bo Bichette. Like, there's Craig Biggio's son plays now.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of these stories, right?
Fielder.
At the same time, dude.
I think this might have been the first. I don't want to say the first time with anything in baseball history because it's
long time.
well documented.
It's a long time.
There's something out there that probably proved me wrong, but I felt like I heard it was the first time 2 brothers had ever faced off in the playoffs against each other.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I don't know if that's true or not. Like, one being a pitcher and one being obviously a hitting player on the other team.
Somebody will correct you here in the chat.
I'm sure Tommy
poll results are in. Is the Archie Manning real Arch or another Manning? Out of 160 votes, Archie gets 63%, so we're all clear that was Archie. Peyton came in second with 19. People, if we had Peyton Manning on the phone and had an opportunity to interview Peyton Manning the week after Tennessee beat Alabama, in which he's smoking cigars with everybody on campus, we wouldn't try to hide him as his dad. You know what I mean? Like, that would be bad business in the podcasting game, to cover up Peyton and tell him to imitate his dad for 14 minutes so we can do a bit on a local podcast. Just does not make a lot of sense when you say it out loud. Like, I get that you're just trying to get instant reaction while you're, typing into the chat during the interview that this is not Archie. This is his son, Peyton. Like, say that stuff out loud before you type it in somewhere and have someone read it publicly. If you're looking to get a reaction or looking just to kind of cause a gaffe or a laugh, then job well done.
I think they were serious.
If you're serious, man, like, think about what you're saying. That we have asked Peyton Manning, one of the greatest football players ever, in a huge week for his alma mater, to come onto our show and hide the fact that that's who he is.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, Peyton.
I would have worn my Tennessee hat.
I mean, every podcast in the world would crawl to Peyton Manning to have him on this week.
But act like your dad.
But we land him, and we say to imitate Archie.
Right. I think what they're saying is the opposite. Is that Archie was like, "Here, Peyton, you take this call."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
I
ain't
love
happening.
knowing though that Peyton's using a neighbor's house.
Incredible.
For his set. Because I
That's
always
incredible.
wonder, like, where is this really in their house? Like, I'm always, like, looking, trying to figure out. Like,
But
Eli
you gotta
is, obviously.
You got to
but
call a timeout, right?
You got to get a timeout. What a
Timeout.
cool ass neighbor.
I know, right?
Like,
well, I mean, how do you,
wouldn't you?
How do you
much
say
is,
no?
How much is he paying him?
What are you going to do?
No, I don't want you to do this in my house.
Peyton, let me get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Think about
I'll
it.
get back to you tomorrow. I got to play a little golf today.
Really think about it.
Got a
You
few
can play it in
things
your
going
golf
on.
simulator that you
Could
have
you imagine if he was
downstairs.
kind of like putting Peyton off? Like, yo,
That's
bro,
why they can't do
are
it
we
every
good?
week.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Keys under the mat.
Before
Take
we
it up
go
when you're
on.
done. Maybe that's why they don't do it every Monday, because they're, oh man,
That's
neighbor
true,
won't
the
let me
neighbor's
in.
out of
Neighbor's
town.
having a house party. Can't have Peyton
That
over.
is why they got family over.
That would be unbelievable. But they obviously have a great relationship. I couldn't imagine getting that call. But like, you know, who has a great spot. My neighbor has this man cave that we would
could
love
use
to
that
do
thing
an
every week.
ESPN production out of. And he's like, you got Ethernet, Wi-Fi? Like, what do I need?
Where do we plug in here?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to get out the house for that. That's got to be your whole Monday, probably the whole weekend, where they have to
Yeah.
go like set everything up.
Oh, no doubt.
Because he's not like, Peyton, don't leave all your shit in my basement. Like,
Right.
You
I think
got
they
all
probably
these
could leave
wires.
it there.
I don't know.
Well, you
if that guy wants to use his man cave,
you probably wire it for when they show up. It's just click, click,
Yeah,
click.
gotta be.
We're good. You know what I mean? I mean, if it's this type of production,
that's what I'm saying. He probably has 15 people that are coming in.
the
to help
production
him.
value has gone up.
It has.
Yeah, they
You
heard
know?
they heard the critiques.
Absolutely.
It has. Before we go, I don't think y'all talked about this before, but did y'all hear that the Mississippi State offensive lineman died yesterday?
I saw that.
Freshman
Yeah, I saw
lineman
that.
Sam Westmoreland. They don't have a cause of death yet, but very sad. He
What
was
ha-
19.
I mean, was
They
he
don't know.
in the facility?
They're not saying anything.
They're not saying anything.
Nothing yet.
That's
But
scary.
Very sad. Very scary and very sad. Yeah.
Mike Leach.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow morning. I will not be here. Coach Caskey will be in the seat with the crew. Irish teams will be here for Foodie Friday. We'll have our food back. All good. All good. All good. All good. And get over to Irish teams if you're tailgating tomorrow or Saturday or on Friday nights as well. The Butcher Bundle's online at irishsteamsfarms.com. Make sure and like, share, comment, subscribe if you have not done so. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.